Hi, we're at the Divertimenti in Daunt Books Culinary Salon, and I'm so pleased to welcome Patricia Michelson. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And I was reading in your book and reading about your beginnings, and we think about people in food and the different sacrifices they make and how they start. But you actually started with your cheese selling from a garden shed, which was a first. I'd never heard of a garden shed, but it's amazing.
Well, I think a lot of female entrepreneurs tend to sort of start from the ground roots, when it's usually a kitchen or something. But I fell in love with cheese when I was skiing very badly. And I always believe you have to do something quite badly in order to find out something you can actually do quite well. And it was after a bad skiing day that I walked through the village of Marylebone, past the cheese shop called Fromagerie, and picked up the local cheese. And we're tasting it tonight as well. The original cheese, not the original one from 20 odd years ago, but a Beaufort Chalet d'Alpage, the high mountain summer Beaufort, which I still think is a fabulous cheese, and that started it.
And that was the inspiration and got you into learning about cheese?
Yes, yeah, because I brought some back. It was another accidental thing, because I asked the cheesemaker, because I found him in the village, I asked him for a piece of cheese to come home, and my French, which is still as bad as it was then, I thought I asked for a piece of cheese, like 2-3 kilos, and he bought a whole wheel of 35, and that's why it went in the garden shed. I had to get home in the back of the car, first of all, with 2 children who've never eaten that cheese since. But it went into the shed and started to get out to all my friends and family. And then I took it to restaurants. And then the restaurant said, "This is good. Can we get more?" And that's when I said, "You know what, I would really like to go into the artisan cheese business." And that's how it started, yeah.
And when you walk into La Fromagerie, and I'm thinking of the one here in Marylebone High Street, there's just a whole atmosphere. And when you walk in and the smells and the way it looks and seeing the cheeses, it's a real experience, which I think is so special.
Yeah, I think that it is all to do with the way that I like to shop. And I thought, if I'm going to have a shop, it's going to be like my dream shop. When I was a kid, I used to play shops. I don't know if you did. And I used to turn my bedroom into this shopping experience and make my brothers and my mother and father come in and buy stuff, whatever it was. And I wanted that same sort of joyous thing as you walk in and you're seeing a whole amount of produce from the colour that you see when you walk in with the fruit and veg, and then sort of drifting into and the smells of the bakery, and then the charcuterie, and then into the cheese room, which is a dedicated room where you can actually walk in and look around. I wanted it to be, I know people talk about the journey, but I've talked about this journey for 23 years. This is what I want people to do. That it's not a sterile environment. It's something that wakes up your appetite and makes you want to make something that evening from the produce that you see in the shop.
Well, and in book form, that's what you've done here, because you leaf through this. There is wonderful detail without being overwhelming. The pictures are amazing, and I would defy anyone not to be salivating after they've looked through this. It's just a fabulous book.
I tried to have a mix. I mean, I had to sacrifice some words because of the pictures there. The publisher kept saying, "But the pictures are so good, we want..." And I said, "But they've got to know more about them." So we sort of came to a decision. But all the photography was done outside the shop in a little sort of area outside, so it's natural light, all our own cheese as well. And when I went to the States, it was all cheeses that came over to a place in just outside of New York, and I photographed them again in daylight so that you could see them properly, not in any artificial way. There they were in all their glory, bits broken off, you saw the rind, you saw the veins in the blue. That how you see them there is what is on the shelf.
That's fab. I mean, a real labour of love.
Yes, I have to say, yes. But I think if you love something, if you do a book that you want it to be something a little bit special for people, it is a labour of love, because otherwise, why do it? Why put your name to it? It's all about the cheese. It's not about me. It was all about the cheese.
Fabulous. Patricia Michelson, thank you so much for joining us and helping us celebrate Divertimenti's 50th.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.